Hey, Ma!
So you see this wood shelf? You might be shocked to know that it actually was painted by me. It used to be black. I painted it this color, and then I did the technique to make it like wood. Crazy.
It all started with these thrift store shelves that I found for $5 each.
So these are the shelves that we're dealing with. They're black. But it would be better if there's two of them, if they matched the wood grain of the table. So the first step is going to be to paint them with a base coat. This is some bare eggshell. Looks like that.
So for $10, I thought it would look really nice in my daughter's dining room. I even put flower pots on top of them to show her how nice they would look. But she didn't like that. I asked her if she would like them more if maybe they were in a wood grain, and she said yes. Then I knew I had to do another project. This is an easy way to create a faux wood grain pattern on any surface.
This is just the base coat. So it's going to have a layer of stain on top of it. But we have to make sure the base coat is thoroughly dried. Let me do that. This holds some plants, and they're behind me, so I gotta be careful. There are little areas, because this is like a plaster, it's very light. See, it's very light. It's like made out of plaster, so this gives me an opportunity to cover up all those little dings and holes and stuff as well, so that it's gonna be all uniform. I won't have like white spots like that and stuff like that. I was gonna paint it with the latex paint, but this will be better.
I'll just fast forward the boring part where I'm just painting it and painting it and painting it. So that's all you're doing here is just painting it back and forth and back and forth. But I will leave it in so you can see the transformation before your very eyes. So if I wanted to just do one coat, I could have very well just done one coat. I wound up doing two, but I don't think that if a little bit of the black showed through, it would look like black. I think it would just look like darker grains of wood.
So this is not the best brush, but for this application, it's really not a big deal because all you're doing is getting enough of the base to show through when you stain it. So if there are streaks and things like that, it's not going to show through the stain enamel. And of course you can do this with spray paint, but I hate spray paint. I really do. I don't like painting, period. So the messier it is, the worse it is for me.
Okay, just finishing up and the first coat is almost done. I waited until it was fully dry before I applied a second coat, and then this is what it looks like after 2 coats. Pretty nice. So then it was time to add the stain because of course we are going for a wood green look. And the way that you're going to apply it is you're just going to go back and forth with the stain. At first it's going to be wet, and what you're doing is you're going back and forth as it's slowly drying a little bit, and once it's more of like a dry paint, you see I'm not like putting more paint on the brush necessarily, I'm just going back and forth. See that turn I just did? That's to add knots and variations. You could kind of wiggle the brush around to add different striations and wood green textures, but swirling it in a circle like that is going to give you what looks like a knot. So I did that a few times, and then I brushed over it lightly, and eventually it's going to start looking like wood. So you just have to have faith. It will happen. As long as you don't keep on putting more paint on the brush, it will eventually happen. And here's where you start to see it happening. And I started getting a little excited. More than a little. Okay. I was like, yeah, I actually delivered. Because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this. Please excuse the janky audio. The dogs are barking at whatever dogs bark at. And also, I'm trying to cut out the music I was listening to. Don't want a copyright strike, you know. Wow. Okay, so you just keep on brushing, and then eventually it'll start, as it dries, it gets more and more wood-like. Look at that. Crazy. Okay, the process happens while it dries. Alright, I'm using polyacrylic min-wax semi-gloss. Is that clear? Alright. Yeah. And take my advice, make sure that you stir these, otherwise you're going to be left with the sticky icky, and you're going to regret it. But the good news is, if you're left with the sticky icky, you can usually cover it. So, I got lazy again. But I want it to have a nice high glow, so. Okay, it's all done. We're gonna stir this. Do a good job stirring. Alright, and we're going to coat this, hopefully, coat this entire bookshelf. It's a nice coat. Like that. It's going to be very nice. Okay,
We'll see you when it's done. Nice. Look at that. Looks like a what do you call it? A banner? Oh, so nice. So nice. Alright, I'm gonna get to painting. Bye. Marker start here. Then I go back the other way. Give the viewer fond farewell.